Hey everyone, this is Ryder from Skip, and I have an important video update on how to get the EIDL and PPP loans forgiven, since many of us have switched to thinking about that, and some of the latest updates on the PPP extension, and a few other tips for you if you have applied for any of these loans or received any of these loans from the SBA. Okay, so let's dive in. It's Thursday, May 28th. Hope you all are doing well. And thanks, as always, for subscribing to our channel and staying up to date on the ever-changing information that's coming out seemingly daily. Okay, so a couple things I'm going to talk about first are I'm going to cut right to the chase, talk about EIDL PPP tips. And then at the end, I'm going to go over a few posts we've done that go in depth in some other areas, and then also what the latest data is showing in terms of approval rating. Okay, so and the last thing I'm going to show you is the actual forgiveness form that you will need to submit, or you're depending on your bank or lender, they may help you, or they may have automated the form that you need to submit to actually get forgiveness. So let's dive in. So EIDL, just to show briefly, again, we see 17% of people that self-reported on Skip had received some advance, and about 7% have received some loan. So still very low comparatively. And as you know, the EIDL is not forgivable, the loan. It's a 30-year, I'm scrolling down here to some of the details, 30-year, 3.75% interest rate loan. So very low interest rate loan. And they capped it at $150,000. So that was news a few weeks ago, right? It used to be $2 million cap here, and then it shows all this here in this CNBC article. And many of you received in advance, whether that was $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, and then had to wait 2 to 3 weeks. The average we saw was 3 weeks from advance to getting an EIDL link to your portal. And in a previous video, I went over the exact EIDL loan document, things to look out for. I'm going to link to that at the end of the video so you know what to look for. So here are the things you cannot, or rather you should know what makes the EIDL different than regular loans. Okay, so it is tied to a personal guarantee as opposed to a business guarantee. That's why the SBA pulled your credit to see, does this person have good credit? And then there's also loan collateral, both tangible and intangible, like inventory and equipment. It's number 2. Number 3, borrowers can't sell, lease, license, or transfer collateral without prior approval from the SBA. Okay, so those are some of the strings that are attached. I'm going to skip the ads here that CNBC's put up. And then also to reorganize, merge, consolidate, change the business structure, or move, you need approval from the SBA. Okay, so basically any restructuring or any moving, the SBA needs to approve that. And finally, the EIDL funds, if you do receive, have to be used for working capital. You cannot use them for physical improvements, capital projects, build a new wing for your business. It has to be related to working capital. So can't be expansion. The example they give here is if you're a restaurant, you can't use it for a patio or a drive-through window, or things like that. It has to be used for the people. So that's the EIDL. Again, the guidance here is more straightforward than the PPP over the years. Meanwhile, the PPP is still a bit confusing. Here's the news. PPP is coming back. So PPP is going to be voted on this week to try to extend the forgiveness. So they're coming back to Congress this week, and they're expected to vote on it and extend the 8-week time period to 24 weeks. That's the main change. There's a few other changes too in terms of usage of the funds depending on the business. I'm going to link to these. I'm going to link to these articles, but the important thing here, I'm also going to show you from a great resource, Merchant Maverick, by the way. have some amazing content if you're looking to dive deeper into PPP EIDL world. They publish a lot. So just to clarify a few of the PPP current rules, again, they will probably change. They will likely change with the new bill when they are voted on in Congress this week. But if you applied before Phase 2, before April 27th, this is when all the problems were, when the backlog happened, when people really didn't know what they were doing. You should check, and if you still haven't received a loan, you should check with your lender, okay? If you applied in Phase 2, chances are good that you have received your loan. And here is the most important piece. There is still over $100 billion in funding in the PPP program. So if you saw the news from round 1 and were scared away, you thought that it was already filled up. Many people were scared away from applying and didn't understand the string, so they didn't want to take on all this debt. It is still an option to consider. There's still money in the pot. This is from a webinar on May 21st, so a week ago today, that the SBA confirmed that there is still money left in the pot. And we have no reason to believe that in a week that's evaporated. So we have some loan partners too. I'll leave a link in the description. So if you're still thinking about it, it's not too late. That's the good news. Whereas EIDL, chances are that you probably, at the moment, cannot apply for an EIDL loan because they have closed their portal, but they may reopen that. We're monitoring that daily as well. Okay, so before I get into the actual forgiveness documents, I'm going to show you a few quick things. First, on the Skip blog, we've put up a few important posts in the last 2 days. So first is the latest data on the EIDL advances based on self-reporting. We go into some graphs and charts there. One we posted yesterday, how to get an antibody test for COVID-19 and who needs one. This is the big thing. Obviously, if we're talking about herd immunity, we need to understand what percentage of the population on a local and regional and state level have already contracted the virus. So how close are we to herd immunity, given that a vaccine is still at least several months away? How to track your stimulus check with USPS, and why some people are receiving their stimulus checks via debit card. So if you're still waiting for stimulus checks, these are relevant to you. And then finally, here's how you can help small businesses as they reopen. So just going to show you very briefly, those are the two posts I just mentioned, but here's how you can help. So you can understand what to expect in your city or county based on local rules. See how your local businesses are doing. Many have done GoFundMe campaigns. Many have also applied. You are probably one of them, perhaps, if you're watching this video. Wear a mask. And we are giving out free masks. Support COVIDrecovery.com, which links to this page, to encourage building up consumer confidence. So if you start a free 15-day trial of Skip Plus, you can cancel anytime. We'll send you a free mask. We just want to obviously get masks out there and of course just make this the new normal for now. So thanks for everyone who's already requested a mask and started a trial. So last thing here is the actual PPP loan forgiveness application. So this is what you or your bank will have. Your bank or lender may help you fill this out, but this is what you have to fill out. I'm not going to go into line by line right now because that would take too long, but it's a similar form to the original application where you put down how much you used towards what? Towards payroll. We assume that most of you are using this towards payroll, so it's going to be pretty straightforward, and you need to verify your payroll schedule if you got an EIDL advance. So basically they want to track all the money that you've gotten from the SBA, whether that's EIDL advance, EIDL loan. And one thing I'm going to point out is Gusto, one of the top payroll processors, has put together a few tips here on what you need to do to get your loan forgiven. So these are 4 basic points that I'm going to just share very briefly. So keep track of your spending during the 8-week period. That's obvious, but You just need to do it. Download a final payroll expense report. So whatever payroll processor provider you use, you need to download the final payroll expense report. Gather evidence for expenses outside payroll and terminated employees. So this you need to collect written proof of other qualifying expenses like rent, mortgage, interest, utility payments, owner compensation, and other offers of rehire. You know, if you offered a rehire but they said no, I don't want to come back, I'm on unemployment, you need to have evidence of that, and any termination for cause. And then, so not related to a layoff because of the pandemic, but if it was, you know, for cause. And you need to submit an application to your lender by the deadline. So either after your 8 weeks or after June 30th, whichever is later. Of course, that will likely change in the next few days with the new bill. I'm going to leave links to these. And again, if you haven't taken a look on your dashboard, if you're tracking any of these loans on helloskip.com, you can track your advance status and see the rolling approvals and also the number of people that have been approved. And you can request early access to our Skip Small Business Support Program, which includes listings to help you rebuild confidence among consumers that are supporting you, whether you have a brick and mortar or not, or just an online business. We highly encourage you to take a look at this. So if you've already begun tracking on Skip, you'll have access to that. If not, we'll send information in the coming days. Thanks so much again for watching. Please stay well, stay healthy and safe, and if you can, stay home, but definitely wear a mask when you're outside. Thanks.